Welcome to GOlive TV, the future in your hands. The only multicultural IPTV station that brings communities together. Over 2.7 million people have already watched. GOlive TV, anytime, anywhere.
Hello everyone, how you guys doing today? It's so nice to see you all today, and welcome to Make It Count, episode 3. In today's episode, we're gonna talk about a key element of our existence, which is happiness. Where do you find happiness? Is it something you buy? Is it something you build? Is it something you get from achieving your goals? Is it something you acquire when you have so much money? We're gonna dive into that today, and I'm so honored to have an amazing guest with me today, Teresa Greco. She's gonna talk about the key elements of happiness and how people and our society misconstrue the word happiness. And also, we're gonna have an amazing entertainment. Who's ready for some entertainment today? Yes, so we're gonna have one of the most, I call, dynamic performer I've seen in the city of Toronto. He's gonna grace us with his vocals. And I'm so excited to have him here on stage with us today. So, without further ado, let's go. Welcome back to Make It Count. Today, we're going to talk about the power of passion. I want to ask you one thing. What keeps you grounded in your purpose in life? What's the reason why you get up every morning and you want to pursue your dreams? Maybe some of you have abandoned your dreams because it's too hard. Maybe some of you don't believe that you can actually achieve your dreams. But there's something I would love to share with you today. It's called the power of passion. There is a reason why you don't teach people to be passionate. There is a reason why you cannot teach people to learn how to be passionate. The simple reason is because passion is born from within. You have to develop passion from inside of you. I can give you everything I can. I can inspire you the best way I can, but it would not fuel the passion that is in you unless you dig deep into yourself and find that passion. With passion, you can overcome anything in your life. You have a dream. You want to become this person. You see it all the times. You don't know if you become that person or not. But when you have passion, there is nothing you cannot do. I tell people all the time, if there is one thing you can acquire in your life, if there's one thing about your life that you want to develop, let it be passion. Because with passion, you will go through the fires and come out without a burn. With passion, you will overcome everything that is thrown at you. Life is not a bed of roses. Every day you get up in life, it's a new challenge. And you overcome those challenges with the passion that is buried deep down within you. I said it the other time. When you're on a mission to make your life count, you don't have to worry about naysayers. You don't have to worry about what people say, because life is not about what people say. Everybody has an opinion. That's why it's called opinion. What people say about you, it's an opinion. Nobody knows your story. Nobody knows your journey. Nobody knows where you're coming from. And of course, nobody knows where you're heading to. That is why it's important to have a vision for yourself, to believe in yourself, to know that your life is wonderful. It's amazing. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one will believe in you. They say the world will only take you at your own estimation. How do you see your life? Do you think you're just a number? Do you think you're just one in a million? Or somebody just walking the face of the earth? No, you're precious because you were created by God. God brought you into this world and gave you something that nobody has but you alone. God gave you something that is unique and beautiful. We're all made beautifully. When you walk in the streets, do not walk the streets with your head down. We understand that life is so difficult. Life is challenging. But in the midst of the difficulties in life, you can always walk with your head high up. Why? Because you're confident in who you are. The person you are is not the things you have achieved. The person you are is not your title. It's not your possessions, your position in life. The person you are is who you are without any externalities. And that's something so powerful that nobody can take away from you. So today, I encourage you, whatever passion you have, whatever dream or vision you have about yourself, never give up. Even if everybody's against you, believe in yourself because you're precious. There is no two you. There's only you in this world. And because there's only you in this world, whatever you came into this world to achieve, please fight for it. Because that's the only thing that is worth fighting for. Thank you. And right now, I'm going to welcome to the stage an amazing performer. He is one of the ambassadors for the face of humanity, a young, aspiring performer. The city knows him. His flow is so unique. I just talked about passion. Let's not see. Just watch and see what this guy is going to do. He's the epitome of passion. He's passionate about what he does. And the good thing I love about him is he doesn't do it for fame. He does it from the heart because he loves his craft. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage, Charisma.
Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Welcome to Make It Count.
Thank you, Terrence, for having me. Thank you to the whole team again for having me. But before I show everyone how I make it count, I just have a couple things to say. Number one, what Terrence was saying, your passion, right? Everyone in this world has a legacy. One day you will become ancestors. One day you will leave this world. But what did you leave with? What kind of impact did you leave in this world? You have to make every single day of your life count. There's no excuse. We've seen people that's gone away from this physical world and they don't have that time anymore. We have all the time in the world. Just prioritize your time because time, even worth more than money, is one of the most important things in this world. So if you appreciate your life and you know you got time and you want to make a positive impact, let me hear you make some noise. Okay, so speaking of legacy, this is what I'm doing with my legacy. This is how I make every day count. Even though music is secondary to me, I just came here to bless the stage and to show everyone what I do to make it count, because my ultimate dream is to go around to third world countries and help them out and give them the materialistic stuff that they don't have, because they have the most important thing in the whole entire world. They have all the time in the world that we don't have. So they're blessed out there. So that's my ultimate dream. So without further ado, DJ, play that beat. Let's go. Okay, we got nothing planned, but let's go. Check, check, check. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Make It Count, the show where we learn to make every day count. Episode 3, Power of Passion. Now they got on the stage, yo, Charisma rapping. What happened? Yo, how did I get here? I made every day count. That's how I got here. So one day, Terrence Kings calls me up, and he said, Charisma, can you perform for us? So I said, all right, Terrence, it's obvious that you want me to perform and tear it all up. I said, okay, probably. But he said, Charisma, can you welcome everybody to the city properly? Welcome to the city. It's the home of construction. Yo, you know I had to give my city a proper introduction. Every time I'm on the mic, a party or a function. This is where I'm from. This is where I'm from. So welcome to the city. It's the home of the vibes. It's the home of the energy. The city will rise. The city will ride with sports teams. Blue Jays, Maple Leafs, the Raptors. Welcome to the home of the rappers, the MCs, and all these musicians, and all these MCs. Yo, all these musicians. So now, let me tell you all a story. It's all about my team of 40. They said, yo, Charisma, yo, come to the city and make it all happen. Everyone is lucky. Yes, I love rapping. Welcome to the city. It's the home of the most multicultural people in the world across the whole globe. We got Canadians, Americans, Jamaicans, and Asians, Filipinos, Serbians, Italians, Spanish, Australians, just to name a few. This is how we do here. If you keep it real with us, then we keep our cool here in downtown where I'm found, always holding it down. And if you see us there and you roll into town, then you see the bright lights when you're cruising the nights. And if you've been down here, then you know what it's like. So if you're coming through Pearson or Billy Bishop, coming through the 401, coming through in a pickup, coming down the DVP or 404, it's the place that Charisma loves to perform, because I was born in a city that raised me and paid me. And even some people said, yo, Charisma, yo, you crazy, yo, all these concerts and music gardens, yo, it'll never work. That's when it all started. It was time to shine. It was time for the people to understand the fact that all of us are equal. So this is our time now. People finally getting it. The power that we have, strength and intelligence, the people decide if the humans will die, if we all kill each other or we stand up and rise. Because if we all come together physically and mentally and spiritually, guess what? We can make history. We now have a chance to make the greatest world ever. I don't think you get it. We can have this thing forever. Yo, you all know the saying, never say never, because we don't want to go back to normal. We want better life, better food, better people, better shows, better music. As a rapper, I want to see better flows. Basically a better world for all of us to stay in, that every day we will feel like we were on vacation. It's time to have each other's back, one family. See, that's the true definition of humanity. So let me tell everyone how it's going down. They call me the rapping Pacquiao. So thank God for watching me since I was this tall. Thank God for making me the rap's Chris Paul. What's wrong with people when we're losing our way? We tend to forget that God is cool and people, God is okay. I mean, you think my flow would be as good as it was if I never had all this love and all this God in my heart and all the stories that I tell and rap the way I do and live my life with all this calmness? That's the way I choose. So if you want to listen, listen. If you don't, then you don't. It doesn't matter, because it's all love. No one could judge you or me. Just be yourself, then you'll see that immediately that lots of people get deceived by the money, power, and greed. But don't do it, because happiness will never follow. You'll get those last two lines when you all wake up tomorrow. So live life to the fullest, that good life, because life is short. Before you know your life is over. Good night. So do right. See, it's simple as that. And if you're doing all that, that means you're part of his plan. Yo, I'm always humble. Me, I'm always humble. Every time, yes, you know I don't get in trouble, because I'm just me. I'm just an MC. This is my destiny. This is my legacy. I'm always humble, held ready to rumble. But yo, it's not about me. It's all about the people. So when I say make it, you say count. Make it. Make it. When I say make it, you say count. Make it. Make it. Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name of Charisma. This is how I make it every single day count. God bless you all. Keep living life to the fullest. God bless you out of all. Peace.
Welcome back to Make It Count, episode 3. And I'm so excited that today we'll be talking about happiness. I just want all our audience from all over the world watching right now, and the beautiful ones we have in here, to pay attention to these wonderful words that's going to come out from an expert. She's been doing this for so many years, and it's a privilege to have her here on Make It Count. So, Teresa Greco is a happiness life coach and the host of a weekly internet TV show called The Steps to Happiness with Teresa Greco. She's a 3-time best-selling author. She's an educator, an educational technologies consultant with a master's degree from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. She's also the editor and senior writer at 2 Canadian lifestyle magazines, as well as a writer for international magazines. As a coach, she does public speaking, hosts workshops, and mentors others about embracing, honoring, loving, and celebrating their true, authentic self and achieving their own personal happiness and fulfillment. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Teresa Greco. Hi, Teresa.
Hi.
Welcome to Make It Count.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Have a seat, please. Okay. How are you doing today?
Awesome. I'm so excited to be here and to talk more about happiness, and I just feel honored to be on your show.
Thank you so much for coming. I remember when we met last week, we had a great conversation, and we sat there for like 4 hours just talking about so many things, and I'm like, it was so refreshing to hear from you, and I'm so excited to have you here today to talk to our audience and people watching. So why don't we start by you telling the people who Teresa Greco is?
Well, you introduced me, so that is, I would say, some of my accomplishments, but it's not who I really am. Who I really am is, I would say first, a spiritual being having a human experience. And what that means is that I'm more than just my human body, in that that's just one aspect of me, that we have our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self. And when we connect with and nurture all aspects of ourselves, can we truly live our happiest life and the life that we came here to lead.
Awesome. So, I read your happiness journey through your media sheet, and there are a few things that stood out to me. You said that your happiness story actually started quite late in your career, and you were asking yourself very hard questions. So something that intrigued me was that you said on the outside, people could see that you had a perfect life. You had 2 healthy kids, you had a perfect family, cars in the garage, yearly vacation, and all that type of stuff. But you said you were unfulfilled and you were not happy, despite the fact that your life checked all the boxes. So I want to know why. Why was it that you were unhappy despite having all these things?
It's because we're conditioned to believe that happiness exists outside of us, in our titles, our degrees, our possessions, positions, our experiences, perhaps even in our relationships, that we're conditioned to look outside of ourselves. So, as you said, my life checked off all the boxes that my society, family, religion told me that I needed to have a happy life. And so, as you said, beautiful, healthy family, our own home, cars in the driveway, vacations a year, lots of beautiful material things. Yet I felt that there was always this void and that there was something missing in my life. And I was on what I now know as the satisfaction treadmill, where you accomplish a goal and then you're happy for a couple days, and now you're looking for the next best thing to make you happy again, and then you're constantly setting your goals higher and higher, always trying to fill that void. And it didn't matter how much education I got, how much more job experience, how much more I was helping people, that everything I've ever been involved with was always, how may I serve, how may I serve? So I just thought, well, if I could only be more, then I could do more for others. but always coming from a place of lack within me. And that's what that void and that something missing was, is that I was looking outside of myself for love, for acceptance, for people to revere me and status and all of those things, not recognizing that everything that I was searching for outside of myself already existed within me. Anything that we're looking outside of ourselves already exists within us. But again, we're not conditioned to look inside. We're conditioned to look outside, to ask everybody else, what do you think about this? What do you think I should do? What do you think is important? What do you think? What do you think? Instead of asking ourselves and going inward, and our higher self knows the answer to those questions. But we're not taught to go inward. We're taught to look outward and to look for that guidance in everybody else.
So is that the reason why you started the Steps to Happiness show with Teresa Greco?
Well, that came later on, but my happiness journey has been over 10 years now. As you said, it started with those questions. And I think that everybody has those crossroads that they reach in their life that, you know, whether it's that really low point, whether it's an accident, whether it's illness, whether it's losing somebody that causes you just to stop and take a step back and evaluate your life. For me, it was the milestone of turning 40 that did that for me, that I was like, wow, if I'm at half my life, am I happy living the life I'm living? Is this all there is to life? This like getting up and going to work and then coming home and just doing the same thing day in and day out. And it's actually more than that.
Wow. Guys, well, so for me personally, I think that because it started by reading the magazine, as I told you about, and there are a few things that I read on the magazine that it was like, for me, it was like a switch. I was like, so because I see you're doing a lot of things, but my question is, why are you dedicating so much time on just educating people about happiness?
Thank you, because I think at the basis of everything we do, if you really drill down to like why you want that perfect job, why you want that partner, why you want, to reach a certain level in your career, if you really drill down, at the base of it, we all want to be happy. It is one of those universal things that we are all looking for, not recognizing that we are happiness already. And that's why I would say my mission is to try to help people to live their happiest lives by removing this idea that happiness exists outside, and that even if we believe that there is a choice around happiness, where happiness is a state of mind, let's say, that we can choose happy thoughts, we can choose to be happy. It's more than just our mental self, that happiness is more than just our emotional self, where we feel happy when things are going right in our life. When we've achieved that promotion, we might feel happy for a couple days, and then we're back to feeling unhappy. True happiness is unwavering. It is a part of who we actually are. There's a part of us that is always loving, always at peace, and always happy. And that when you connect to that place inside of you, that's where happiness is.
And how do we connect to that place? Because I know it's easier said than done. A lot of people are like, to be happy, you have to look within you, you have to meditate and things like that. But how do you truly connect with your inner self to find that happiness?
Thank you for that question. And that as I started with the interview today, saying that we have to connect with and nurture all aspects, including our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self. Our spiritual self is always loving, always at peace, and always happy. And it's a matter of connecting with that place inside of us. So people want to maybe call it like your intuition, your gut instinct, that little voice inside of you. It is really the energy part of you, your true essence, your original nature. Children exemplify happiness, love, and peace. All you have to do is spend time with little kids, and you can see that they are all of those things. But it's like the world gets its claws into us and then has us feeling a whole host of other emotions. But it's really coming back to who we really are. And so your question is, how do you connect to that? it's really individual for everybody. And so I talk about having a happiness toolkit, and everyone's toolkit is different with what allows them to connect to the happiness that's always within them to feel at any moment. So my happiness goes where I go. I'm in my happiness bubble wherever I am. And so it's important to recognize that it's not the location you're in, it's not the hockey game that is providing the happiness, it's not the being out at the restaurant or on the patio, it's not at the networking, it's not like at a party, it's none of those things. It's that in those environments, you're actually connecting to the place inside of you that is already happy.
Wow, guys, that's great. That's great. So, actually, we're going to talk about the 4 essential elements that makes up the human body, which is our emotional, physical, spiritual, and mental state when we come back from the break. Thank you. That was good. That was good. I felt like, wow. So. Welcome back to Make It Count, episode 3. I'm with the lovely Teresa Greco, happiness expert coach. So, another crucial thing you talk about in your happiness journey was the power of now, living in the present. So, when people dwell in their past or get anxious about the future, how does that affect your happiness?
Thank you so much for asking me that, because it does tie into what we were just talking about before, that happiness exists in the present moment. And it's in those activities that we think are providing the happiness, but it's not the activities, is that those are just a vehicle that's helping you to connect with the place within yourself that is already happy. And we do that by being in the now. So when we're having dinner with our friends and we're in the present moment, we're not thinking about our problems, we're not thinking about our mistakes, our regrets, our shame, our guilt, and we're also not thinking about what we have to do later. We are completely present and in the moment. And it is that place that we're feeling that happiness that's inside of us, and that's why happiness is found in the now. And so science calls that that flow state, that when you're in the zone, let's say, it's because you're completely connected to that place inside of you that is happy. And so it's important for us to recognize when we're doing something, to be very present and in the now. So whether that's cooking or drawing or writing or exercising, playing with your kids, walking your dog, being out in nature, there's a multitude of things that when people participate in those activities, they're aligning themselves with the wholeness and completeness of what they really are. And so being in the now allows us to do that, to have all aspects, again, our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual self whole in that moment, and then feeling the love, peace, and happiness that we feel in that moment. So like when we're on vacation, it's not the fact that we spent thousands of dollars to get to this remote location to feel at peace and happy. It's because we're there and we're enjoying the warmth of the sun on our skin and the view in front of us and the taste of the drink and the amazing music. It's like you're completely present. You're like, wow, I feel so happy in this moment. Yeah, you can have that happiness anywhere you go, as long as you're present to what it is that you're doing, and you're practicing what we call mindfulness as well, where we're using all of our senses to attune to what is happening in that present moment. So even when we're eating, we should be practicing that. It's like, what does the food taste like on your tongue? What does it smell like? What is the texture of it? But often we're distracted. We're watching TV while we're eating, we're on our phone, we're listening to music, we're having conversation, and then you reach the end of your meal and you're like, wow, what did I even just eat? And so it's really like that in every moment, we should be appreciating what gift it's providing us. That's why the present is called a present, right? Because it is a gift. But if we're distracted and we're not attuning our senses to what's happening, then we can miss it. And then often, as you said, we're living in the past, and we're thinking about all of the things that maybe didn't work out for us, all of our mistakes, our regrets, our disappointments, or we're future tripping and thinking about what we have to do later, and then all that worry and doubt happens, and anxiousness and stress. It's because we're thinking too much in the future instead of just being here now.
Wow, isn't she amazing, guys? Wow. Wow. There's something that I really want to find out from you, and I think our audience too may be curious about that. So, you've made mention about the spiritual, the physical, emotional, and the mental. In order to experience happiness, do you think that all these four aspects must be in sync, in alignment, or what happens when they're not?
Absolutely. Though all aspects of ourselves are constantly communicating with us, our physical self is communicating with us. And if you really tune into what your physical self is telling you, maybe there's pains in certain parts of your body. Maybe you're feeling super excited and you've just got like I am right now. There's like just so much energy. Yeah, that's just like throughout my whole body, and I'm like, wow. And then there's your emotional self that is, how do you feel? Some people, think about it as their heart, but how do I feel is that I look at it as a happiness compass, that how we feel about the situation and whether you're feeling good and happy in a situation will lead you towards the life you came here to lead. But if we're not feeling happy and we're feeling anxious and frustrated and depressed and stressed out, that's your emotional self saying that you're not in alignment with the love, peace, and happiness that you are. As soon as we're not feeling happy and we're feeling other things, it's an indication to us that we're kind of off course. And situations are going to happen where we are going to feel other emotions, and that's okay. We can allow ourselves to feel that, absolutely. We came here to experience that as spiritual beings. We came here to be able to feel other emotions. But what's important to recognize is that we don't have to unpack our bags and stay there. That we can then say, yes, we're going to allow ourselves to experience this and then return back to who we really are. And so then our mental self, which is really, our brain is just an organ, and it's designed to keep us alive. And it's amazingly intelligent, but we're not even our mental. We're not just our brain, that we're more than just how our brain functions. And our brain really, it has 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Like, that's a lot of thoughts.
I didn't know that.
And 95% of those thoughts are you thinking in the past. So it's really just recycling a whole bunch of thoughts day in and day out, over and over and over again. And until you become aware of the thoughts you're having and really become conscious of what you're thinking about, can you even ask yourself, is what I'm thinking about even serving me? Is it making me anxious? Is it making me worried? Is it making me doubt myself? Is it positive? Is it loving? Is it self-sabotaging? Is it limiting me? It's only until we can take even a step back from our mental self to say, wow, is my brain serving me? Are my thoughts serving me? Because it all really does start at the level of the mind, in that our thought, we think a thought, and then it creates an emotional response, and then that emotional response often leads to an, into an action.
Wow. Guys, it's the power of the mind. The things, I always say that the mind is an open field. You know what an open field is? They don't need an invitation. Anything can just pop in there. But now, the difference is you have the power to control what stays in your mind and what shouldn't. It's just like a computer. You can go into your computer and delete a file you don't want to, right? It's the same thing with the mind. And you explained it so beautiful to a point where I want to do something I've never done on this show before. I'm going to put two people on the spotlight because I'm getting a lot of juice from Teresa, and I think that definitely some of you may have questions that you want to ask Teresa. So I'm going to put two people on the spotlight, okay? Mia, I'm going to put you on the spotlight. So, you have a question for Teresa?
I have this question. What is the turning point?
Oh, he's going to give you a mic.
Thank you, Terence, for the opportunity. I would like to ask, what is the turning point to understand, to know your happiness? So from those four elements, how can we align those fours? And what if we cannot make it into one line? And what can we do about it? Yeah, maybe.
So as I was saying, that all aspects of ourselves are constantly communicating, and so it's important that we tune into what that communication is, and then lead ourselves to take action. So if we asked ourselves, how do I feel about this situation, it will lead us towards our happiest life, versus what do I think about it? How do I feel will help us to make the right choices. And basically the mind then becomes a slave to the heart, where the mind says, what can I do to take action to honor how it is that I'm feeling? And so if we're driving 3 hours a day to commute to a job we really don't like, and our manager is awful to us and disrespectful, our colleagues are all negative, we don't really want to go there, but then our mind is like, but it's okay, we make a lot of money, and then it affords us the lifestyle we have, so I'm going to continue to subject myself to me going to a job that I don't even want to go to. Or in how many relationships as well that we're involved with people that we leave their presence and we don't feel loved, honored, respected, because, oh, it's okay, they're going through a rough time. So we continue to subject ourselves instead of saying, well, I don't feel good when I'm hanging out with those people. And so then our mind, as I said, should be figuring out, what changes can I make so that I can find a new job so I don't need to go there? Or maybe I need to create barriers between myself and these other people. So it's about taking action to honor what it is that you're feeling in any moment. And your spiritual self is also always guiding you, that if you're in a situation that it doesn't feel good to you, you should be asking yourself, like, what do I need to do about it? And then taking action to do that. At the basis, I think, of everything we do, it's about loving ourselves. And it's like, so am I loving my physical self the way that I need to? Am I going to the doctors? Am I doing the exercise? Or am I polluting my body with drugs and alcohol and prescription drugs? And then my mental self, am I thinking the right things about myself, or am I limiting myself? Am I awful to myself? So I was in that place where I was not loving myself. I said terrible things to myself. I was never pretty enough, never skinny enough, never athletic enough, never enough of a lot of different things. And it was things that people said to me over the living of my life, family members and colleagues and friends. And you go through school and you're bullied and people say things to you. And then it's those words that you end up saying to yourself on repeat. Every time I looked in the mirror, as I said, I was never pretty enough. Every time I put a piece of food in my mouth, I was never skinny enough. Every time I tried something on, every time, there was so many things that it was like, it's this record player of thoughts. It just plays on repeat. And until you wake up to those thoughts and say, wow, Am I loving myself when I think about myself in that way? And then, I hated myself. I was loathing myself instead of loving myself the way that I needed to. So it's really like bringing all of those aspects into alignment. And my spiritual self was loving me the whole time. And then when I went inward, I'm a meditation coach, a spiritual coach. Meditation, I'm so happy now, is become such a buzzword where people say, oh yeah, I meditate. But it was like 10 years ago where it was weird and woo-woo if you meditated. Like people thought it was part of a cult when I started. But now it's like it's come, almost full circle in that people are talking about it more, and I'm so happy for that because it is only one of those practices that help us to go inward instead of outward. That's really what it's about. That aspect is about coming inside and asking our inner being, what should I do? Asking ourselves the questions that we're wondering about, because that part of us knows what our passion is, our purpose is, why we came here, what we're supposed to be doing, the life that we imagine for ourselves. Those answers all rest inside of us instead of looking outside for those answers.
Well,
Thank you so much.
and finally, I'm going to give the spotlight to another person, Octavian. Do you have any question for Teresa Greco?
So one of the most important things I find when I'm on my own spiritual journey is the mindset, the constant bombardment of thoughts. What do you think are the most important things to basically be staying in the present and not allow these constant thoughts, like you mentioned before, things didn't work out or how it could have been better, and continue being aligned, continue staying in the present?
Thank you for your question. And it's understanding that the brain is an organ that doesn't shut off, even when we're sleeping. And we need it not to do that because it's constantly keeping us alive. But understanding how it operates and knowing that you're more than just your thoughts and that you can observe. So I don't know if you've heard of the book called Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, but he talks about the roommate in your head that never shuts off. Like it's just like on and on and on and on. And it's understanding that you can stand outside of that and say, like, no, I'm not going to accept what you're saying. I'm going to rewrite the story, rewire my brain so that it then will recycle the thoughts that you actually want instead of the programming that's been almost like, they're like mind viruses that as little kids, and we're there understanding the world, and they've been all the programming and conditioning and paradigms that we live within we're not even conscious about. But it's only until we understand that we're more than that can we look at what our brain is doing and saying, do I need to change my thoughts about this situation, about myself, about the life that I can live, the type of success that I can even have, because our mind is set really to protect us, to keep us safe. And it says, no, you don't want to try that because the last time it screwed up for you and you felt really sad and bad about yourself when you do that. So no, maybe you don't want to go there. But those thoughts are not really serving us if we continue to play small in our life instead of saying, no, I know that I can. I know that I came to this earth with a particular mission and purpose, with gifts that only I have, that I need to bring forth into the world. And so it's just knowing that you're more and that you're not this roommate in your head that just spews negativity all the time. It's like the negative Nelly that's like, oh, on and on and on without stopping.
So finally, I want you guys to live with this. Failure, it's only failure when you stay down. As long as you rise up, you're not a failure. That's the most important thing you have to learn. And the fact that you did something the first time it didn't work out doesn't mean if you do it again, it's not going to work out. The guy who started DHL, you know how many times he got approved? You know how many times he applied for a loan to start the business? He was rejected more than 100 times. And that's what I talked about, passion. When you have passion, when people reject you, you smile. because they don't see what you see. As I said, you are the architect of your life. What you see is what you see. Nobody can take it away from you. As long as you believe, everything is possible. I want to thank you so much, Teresa, for coming to Make It Count today. You are so lovely, so beautiful, and so inspiring. And I'm so happy that I had you here today. So I want to leave you to tell the audience and those watching online, where can people find you?
Thank you so much. So you can find me on Instagram. It's Teresa_Greco_Steps to Happiness. You can also find me on Facebook. It's Steps to Happiness with Teresa Greco. Also, you can check out my website. It's teresagreco.ca.
Thank you very much, Teresa. And we've come to the end of episode 3, Make It Count. We'll give you back.